What if the most powerful decision you could make for your life wasn't to work harder, network more, or chase success louder, but to disappear for a while? Not forever, not because you're weak, but because you're about to rebuild yourself from the inside out. Think about this for a moment. Imagine that one day you quietly step away from the noise of the world. You stop participating in the endless scrolling, the pointless arguments, the drama, and the constant pressure to respond to everything and everyone. Instead of reacting to the world every minute of the day, you begin focusing entirely on yourself, your growth, your discipline, and your purpose. Slowly, you disappear from the usual places. No more endless social media activity. No more wasted hours arguing online. No more giving energy to people who constantly drain you. At first, people might not notice. But as weeks pass, something interesting happens. People start asking questions. Where did he go? What happened to her? Why is he suddenly so quiet? 6 months go by, and then one day, you come back. But when you return, people immediately notice something different about you. Your mindset is sharper, your body is stronger, your discipline is stronger, your focus is unbreakable. You walk differently, you speak differently, you think differently. In fact, people may barely recognize the person you've become, and that transformation didn't happen by accident. It happened because you made a deliberate decision to step away from distractions and enter a powerful state of growth that many high performers call monk mode. This is not running away from life. It's the opposite. It's taking control of your life at the deepest possible level. And today, we're going to talk about how disappearing for a period of time can completely transform who you become. The world is designed to distract you. To understand why disappearing can be so powerful, we first need to understand the world we live in today. Because the modern world is not neutral. In fact, the modern world is actively competing for one thing: your attention. Every app you open, every notification that appears on your phone, every advertisement you see, and every piece of content recommended to you online is designed with one purpose in mind: capturing and holding your focus for as long as possible. Your attention has become one of the most valuable currencies in the world. Companies spend billions of dollars every year trying to capture it. Social media platforms hire teams of psychologists and behavioral scientists to design algorithms that keep you scrolling longer. Streaming services automatically play the next episode before you even think about stopping. And the result of all of this is something many people don't realize. Your ability to focus is constantly being attacked. Research has shown something shocking about human concentration. When your attention is interrupted by a notification or distraction, it can take around 23 minutes to regain full focus on the original task. Think about that. 23 minutes. That means if you're distracted just 3 or 4 times an hour, which is extremely common today, your ability to do deep, meaningful work is almost completely destroyed. Suddenly, it makes sense why so many people feel stuck. Goals remain unfinished. Projects remain incomplete. Dreams stay dreams instead of becoming reality. Not because people lack intelligence, not because people lack potential, but because they lack protected focus. And here's something important to understand. A focused person becomes extremely powerful. When someone can sit down and focus deeply for hours without distraction, their productivity increases dramatically. Their thinking becomes sharper. Their ideas become clearer. And that kind of focus is very difficult to control or influence, which is exactly why the world keeps trying to pull your attention away. Your power lives inside your focus. But accessing that power requires something many people struggle with. It requires solitude. Why most people fear being alone? Now, this is where things become really interesting. Because despite the incredible power that comes from solitude and focused thinking, most people today are deeply uncomfortable with being alone with their own thoughts. There was a fascinating psychological experiment conducted at the University of Virginia that demonstrated this perfectly. Participants in the study were asked to sit alone in a quiet room for just 15 minutes. That's it. No phone, no music, no conversation, no distractions. Just 15 minutes of silence. However, there was a small twist in the experiment. In the room, participants had access to a device that could deliver a mild but painful electric shock. Before the experiment began, every participant experienced the shock once so they understood exactly how it felt. And almost everyone said the same thing afterward. They would pay money not to experience that shock again. But during the 15 minutes of silence, something unbelievable happened. Instead of simply sitting quietly with their thoughts, a large number of participants chose to press the shock button. In fact, about 67% of men in the experiment preferred to shock themselves rather than sit in silence. One participant pressed the button 190 times during those 15 minutes. Just think about that. People preferred experiencing physical discomfort over spending time alone with their own minds. But this idea isn't new. Hundreds of years ago, the French philosopher Blaise Pascal made a powerful observation. He wrote that many of humanity's problems come from one simple thing: our inability to sit quietly alone in a room. And today, in a world full of constant stimulation, his observation may be more true than ever. People run from silence. People escape into distractions. But the truth is, silence is not the enemy. Silence is where transformation begins. The power of solitude. If you look closely at history, you'll notice a fascinating pattern among some of the greatest thinkers, creators, and innovators who have ever lived. Many of them spent significant periods of time alone, not because they were antisocial, not because they hated people, but because solitude gave them something extremely valuable: mental space. When Isaac Newton developed some of his most important discoveries, he was living in isolation on his family's farm during a time when the university he attended had temporarily closed. Nikola Tesla often worked alone for long stretches of time, immersing himself completely in his ideas and experiments. Albert Einstein famously spent long periods of time simply thinking, imagining, and daydreaming about the nature of the universe. These moments of deep thinking were not interruptions to their work. They were the source of their breakthroughs, because creativity, innovation, and deep insight require something that modern life rarely provides: uninterrupted attention. When your mind is constantly flooded with noise, notifications, and endless information, there is simply no room left for original thought. But when you remove the noise, when you step away from distractions, something remarkable begins to happen. Your mind slows down, your thinking becomes deeper, ideas begin forming that never had the space to appear before. You begin understanding yourself better, your purpose becomes clearer, and slowly, the person you were meant to become starts revealing itself. Solitude isn't loneliness. Solitude is the environment where your highest potential begins to grow. Remember, real transformation doesn't happen in public. It happens in silence. It happens when you step away from distractions, focus on your growth, and build yourself when nobody is watching. So if you truly want to change your life, don't be afraid to disappear for a while. Focus. Discipline yourself. Become stronger mentally, physically, and spiritually. And one day, when you return, people won't just notice success. They'll notice a completely different version of you. If this message inspired you, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Because here, we focus on growth, discipline, and becoming the best version of ourselves. Now remember one thing: disappear for a while, work in silence, and come back unrecognizable.